Shorthanded is one word for it, but it feels like an understatement tonight, given what Ohio State will be dealing with on the injury availability report. Welcome to the Pregame Keys on 97.1 The Fan, 10 TV, and 10 TV Plus. He is Jeremy Birmingham. I am Austin Ward. Carnell Tate is out. Jeremiah Smith is questionable. Those tend to go one way more than another, so Ohio State could be without not just its two best wide receivers, arguably the two best wide receivers in America.
And everybody who wants Julian Sayin to prove what he can do without the weapons around him, tonight's your night maybe, because Ohio State not only will maybe be without the top two receivers in the country, but the weather's a little weird. There's some really stiff winds happening, some rain expected in the first half, and now all of a sudden you get to see what Julian Sayin can do when he's forced to improvise and not have his security blankets. It's really loud in here, and I feel like I'm yelling, so I apologize if I'm yelling at you, America.
Well, I think America is probably yelling and wondering what exactly is going on with weapons that Ohio State will eventually need to win the national championship. We don't have any current update. Ryan Day shot down any availability or any talk of that about Carnell Tate throughout the week. Wednesday night when we were in the Woody, the wide receivers were the first ones off the field, and so that part was already disguised, I think, and working through how much Jeremiah Smith could play at that time throughout the week. So we don't know exactly what the situation severity is. Questionable means not long-term in Ryan Day parlance. Now, Carnell Tate was not listed on the availability report at all last week, and now is fully out this week. So he's going to get more questions about that. We're not going to get any of those answers before kickoff. Now, again, we're talking about what does it mean for November 29th, or potentially in Indianapolis, or a college football playoff. We'll have that conversation later. This is an opportunity against UCLA, by the way, Ohio State's opponent, 7:36 on NBC tonight, where they probably don't need them. So if it's close, which is why a questionable decision for Jeremiah Smith is more likely than not going to lead to him watching this evening.
Which is unfortunate. We will get a sense of if there's anything potentially really long-term when they walk into the stadium in about an hour from now as this goes live to the world. We'll get a better idea. Check out Austin's Twitter account or Letterman Row if you're on the message board over there for more details on that, what we see. But it is a night for an opportunity for Bryson Rogers, for Mylan Graham, for Quincy Porter, for Brandon Ennis, for Max Clare, for Julian Sayin to show again that this is not a one-trick pony at Ohio State. They have a lot of weapons, and fortunately for them, they're playing a UCLA team that doesn't have its only good player on offense with Nico Iamaleava, who will be out for this game with a concussion. So, you get a break last night, and not that it mattered that much. Nico Iamaleava was not going to beat Ohio State by himself, but now you have a first-time starting quarterback going against this Buckeye defense, and the injury report for the Buckeye defense does not indicate that there's a lot of guys missing on that side of the ball. So we'll see if there's load management, but the Buckeyes should be pretty close to full strength there.
Yeah, it's not. There are no starters defensively that are listed on the availability report. They are going to be without Jarquez Carter. That is a new one at defensive tackle. The rest is pretty much the same. Malik Hartford is out. I'm not sure that we're going to see Malik Hartford playing again for Ohio State. Certainly not tonight, but maybe not for the rest of the season. We'll see what transpires there. But you mentioned some of the other people that have an opportunity to step up for Ohio State. C.J. Donaldson is also questionable. So whether that is red zone usage, whether that is some of the versatility out of the backfield as a receiving threat, you're removing that. So James Peoples, Isaiah West, Bo Jackson, this is your opportunity. If this is a game where Ohio State, again, because if it gets wet, we know it's windy. It is a little bit warm for mid-November, which is a nice blessing. But if this has to be a game where the run game shines, one more factor into that, Josh Padilla is officially out. We talked about throughout the week that we did not expect him to play at right guard. So a lot of things going on. That's not uncommon when you get into mid-November in the Big Ten.
It's actually uncommon that it's been this long this season where Ohio State has had virtually zero problems with health. So the Buckeyes go really, really hard on Tuesday in practice and Wednesday in practice. So maybe this is just we went too hard this week. Ryan Day's had those moments in the past. And I'm curious if there's going to be a dialing back of that when they get ready for Rutgers next week. But today you have to beat UCLA, and you're going to do that by taking advantage of the guys you have. That means potentially a really big night for the running backs, I think, especially for Bo Jackson and Isaiah West. They're going to get the yeoman's work like they have been, but now you don't even have the touchdown vulture, C.J. Donaldson, likely out there to take the carries from you. So big night for those guys. And again, I'm going to keep repeating it. for anyone who thinks Julian Sayin is where he is in the Heisman race and the Heisman conversation because of Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, tonight's Julian's opportunity to shut people up and say, I can do this with anybody.
Yeah, to go back to what you mentioned about a Bloody Tuesday and Woody Wednesday, like Ohio State and Ryan, they have to practice that hard. If we're talking about Purdue in the terms of that turned into a glorified scrimmage, and you look at the way that the schedule has largely played out, Ohio State still has to play football. They still, even though they are unbeaten and number one in the country going into the last 3 weeks of the regular season, a lot of these are still new guys that they're trying to get ready for talent-equated postseason games or a rivalry game at the end of the month. And they can't just say, well, you got 37 snaps to go prove yourself on defense against Purdue. That's not enough. So I know that that's a difficult balancing act. And if that leads to some unexpected curveballs on Saturday, I mean, that's the cost of doing business. I know that sounds callous, but that is what you have to do to play at Ohio State and survive and win at the highest level. You have to be able to compete against the best players in iron sharpening iron throughout the week. So they can't just coast into the Michigan game and then I think flip a switch. Like, this is the ramp up time.
And it's an interesting night. I mean, obviously the offensive question marks now health-wise are going to be the talking point. But I do wonder, for Matt Patricia and the defense, how much do things change for you now that Nico's not out there? How much time do you have to adjust the game plan from Friday night to Saturday when you've got a 6'6", 215-pound statue now back there at quarterback?
Yeah.
Instead of
inexperienced
Nico,
statue.
right, as a guy that can beat you with your legs before. So I think that's interesting. And it may not matter. Ohio State may not throw too much of the kitchen sink at this new guy whose name is not even registering in my mind right now. I saw it earlier, but now I can't remember. This is just a game where you're going to have to go out, take care of your business. It's been a weird day around college football already. You watched, obviously, Texas A&M come back from 27 down at half. Michigan finds a way to squeak out a win with 5 turnovers in Chicago. Just win. And Ohio State is way better than UCLA, even without its aliens at wide receiver.
Yeah, and it is a bit funny to me. You mentioned it. Some of the hot take artists around the country this week, I don't know, cool it on the Julian Sayin and the Heisman. Like, I saw one person, I wasn't familiar with any of their work. It was posted on the Letterman Row message board. It was like, here are 25 other quarterbacks who would be unbeaten if they were leading Ohio State. And it's like, okay, but would they be completing 83% of their passes to this point? Would they be doing all the things in their first year as a starting quarterback that Julian Sayin is doing? I personally don't think so, because I've watched every snap that Julian Sayin has taken, and it is incredible what he's done. And when he has not been throwing to Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, it's still pretty darn good. Now, that's probably going to be his whole life tonight against UCLA, and maybe that will wake up some more people around the country. At least that would be my bold prediction now, is that conversation around Julian Sayin will have to change if he does it again tonight at 7:36 p.m. in the Horseshoe against UCLA, which I think he will.
It should be a good night. Crowd was out there early. Tailgate was happening. It's super loud in here. I don't know why it's so loud. But
you said you wanted juice in the stadium,
Birm.
Birm.
Bringing juice, but it's just the music through the speakers. So we're excited for it. We hope you are too. If you're coming down to campus, get here early, because it's going to get wild.
Yeah. Again, unseasonably warm, but it might get a little wet. It's definitely windy. We'll see how that impacts Ohio State. We'll see how these injuries impact the Buckeyes as they look to improve to 10-0. They are still nearly now 5 touchdown favorites to beat UCLA. We'll see what happens. Again, primetime on NBC when it's over. No matter what happens, we will have snap judgments right back here on 97.1 The Fan, their YouTube channel, 10TV, that YouTube channel, and 10TV Plus, and anywhere that you get podcasts for that. We'll also have the Notebook with some behind-the-scenes conversations with the Buckeyes. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to this game. Another opportunity, the penultimate home game in the Horseshoe. These are the Pregame Keys. He's Jeremy Birmingham. I'm Austin Ward. Hope you can hear us. We'll talk to you after the game.